almost set it and forget it.
And turned it into a yogurt. Right, Mom?
Yeah, we're gonna make yogurt. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I thought I would show you guys how I make my yogurt. It's something that I've gone into for the last few months. I've been making it steady at least once a week. I love it because I like to use grass-fed whole milk organic. And so it gets to be a little bit pricey, and this way when I make it, it comes up to a little bit cheaper, not a big difference, but actually it's something I enjoy doing with the kids. And it's a great thing to do if you have some milk that you need to use up that, you know, it's coming close to its expiry date. The way I do it in a slow cooker. So it's a great method if you don't have a lot of time to just sit over a pot and stir constantly. This is a kind of a almost set it and forget it, not completely, but it's very much not as hands-on. So it's a great way to do it. So what you want to do is get your crock pot, and then what I do is, so where I live here in Canada, in Ontario, the milk comes in a big bag where there's like 3 of these little bags inside. So, and it comes out, they're 4 liter for all 3 bags together, which I think is about a gallon in US measurements. I take 2 of these little bags, which is about a liter each, just over a liter each. And that's what fits perfectly into my slow cooker. So what you want to start is they've come out of the fridge. I'm gonna cut these bags open, pour it in, and then I'm gonna put my slow cooker on high. One thing I forgot to mention is you kind of have to plan ahead with your timing. You're gonna put the milk in the slow cooker, and then it needs 2 hours on the high setting for it to reach a certain temperature. So you want it to reach 180 degrees Fahrenheit, I believe. Yes, 180 degrees Fahrenheit. And then you're gonna cool down. That's what's gonna activate the bacteria from your starter. So you're gonna heat it up. So that's gonna take 2 hours, and then it takes about an hour for it to cool down. That's 3 hours right there. And then you need to let it sit for 8 hours. So I usually start the process early in the morning and then let it sit for 8 hours, and then I'll put it in the fridge to stop the fermentation. You give yourself enough time to get that fermentation process going, and then it's not in the middle of the night when the 8 hours is up. So let's say you start early in the morning, and then at night you're done your fermentation. You could just stick it into the fridge, and if you want to strain it the next day, you can. So another thing you can do is start it in the evening, and that way it ferments overnight, and then in the morning you have yogurt, and then you can put it in the fridge or strain it at that point as well. So you can do either or, either start it early in the morning or later on in the evening. We're gonna pour out this milk into the slow cooker, and then we're gonna plug it in and put it on high for a couple hours.
Yes, Mama. We have milk in the locomotor and turned it into a yogurt. Right, Mom?
Yeah, we're gonna make yogurt.
Yeah.
So I've just plugged it in, and I set it on high. I'm gonna leave it for 2 hours, maybe 2.5. I would check it around that time frame because every slow cooker is different. And the other thing you're gonna need is just another, like a little thermometer like this. They're really inexpensive. They're like $5 or $6. You're gonna stick it in, and you're looking for that 180 degrees. It's now been a couple hours. I'm just gonna take off the lid and check the temperature. Careful, there's some steam that may come out. Finally reached the temperature it needs to be. I'm gonna uncover it and let it cool off. It's gonna take about an hour. You could leave it covered. It's just gonna take a little bit longer because it is in that insulated crock pot. What I'm gonna do is take out my old yogurt and let it come to room temperature within that 1 hour, and then I'll be able to mix it in with the warm milk. For today, this is the starter I'm going to be using. It's some leftover yogurt that I bought a few days ago. What I usually do is just keep some of the leftover yogurt that I've had from my last batch and use that as my starter for the new yogurt. You can do that about maybe, I don't know, they say 5 or 6 times, but I found I've done it more, and my yogurt's been okay. I haven't had any issues. I think you just need to make sure your yogurt is within like a week or 2. You don't want it to be older than that because the cultures might not be as active as you want them to be. In this case, the last time around I made yogurt, I used up all the yogurt. I hadn't kept any aside. So we went ahead and bought some, and I'm almost out now. So this is what I'm using for my new batch. And when I'm done, it makes about like 2 of these containers, 2.5 maybe, if I don't strain it. If I strain it, which makes it Greek yogurt, then you have a lot less because you're taking out that liquid, you're taking out that whey. And actually, I feel like the more you strain it, the sweeter it tastes. The whey adds a bit of a sourness to it. I really like the taste when you strain it. It's nice and creamy and thick. We have it at 180 now, and we want it to get to 110. As the milk starts to cool, it'll form this skin on top, which you'll want to discard as it won't really dissolve if you mix it in. You then want to temper the yogurt by adding some of the warm milk into your room temperature yogurt and mixing it together. Add the tempered yogurt back into the milk and stir gently for a little bit. You don't need to stir for a long time, just a couple of seconds. You then want to put the lid back on and place it in a blanket or a large towel inside a closet, or in my case, the pantry. You want it to stay warm for the next 8 to 10 hours. It's officially been a little bit over 8 hours. I've just taken it out of the closet. I'm going to take a peek to make sure it's nicely set. If you're following along and making yourself, congratulations, you officially have yogurt. But I'm going to pop it into the fridge and let it set overnight in the fridge, and in the morning I'll see you guys for the next step, which is straining the yogurt to make Greek yogurt. So it's the next day. I've let it cool in the fridge overnight, and it's set up nicely. I'm gonna put some for the kids to eat right now for breakfast. It's actually a nice consistency, but I like to have it a little bit thicker. And when I mentioned earlier, when you strain out the whey, it makes it a little bit creamier and sweeter as well. To do that, you don't need anything special. I know they sell specialized yogurt strainers, but I just use a salad spinner, and I just take this out, or any kind of bowl that's large enough that's gonna fit the amount of yogurt that you want to strain. So, and then I have another strainer, a pasta strainer, and then I have a cheesecloth. But you can also use a dish towel, ideally a lint-free towel. So yeah, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start putting this in here, and I'm gonna let it strain, and that's up to you, like how long you want to leave it. You can judge by how thick you want it. So typically you want to leave it at like an hour, maybe more, but yeah, you can decide how thick you want your yogurt. It's actually been 3 hours since I last spoke to you guys. I checked the yogurt at the 1 hour mark, and it was a little too runny for me, so I ended up leaving it for 3 hours because that's what it needed. Again, you decide what consistency you want and how thick you want it. For my purposes here, if you see like the edges have started to thicken up, but the center is kind of still more runny. So that's perfect for me because I don't want it too thick, because I like to mix some oats and chia seeds and other things into my yogurt. So if it's too thick, it's not that easy for the kids to eat. What I'm gonna do now is take this out, and I'm gonna reserve some of the weight on the side, just in case my yogurt is too thick when I mix it and I see that I'd like it a little bit more runny, so I can put back some of that whey. I know some people keep the whey and use it for other things. I haven't personally experimented with that, but if you have used the whey for anything else, I'd love to know what you use it for, because I do feel it's a bit of a waste to just throw it down the drain. I will show you how I mix it and what the final result is. have it. That's how I make my Greek yogurt. First you make your yogurt and then you strain it to make your Greek yogurt, removing that whey. And that makes your yogurt so much more tasty and creamier and sweeter also, I find. It's a pretty lengthy process. You do need to plan ahead, but it's fairly simple. All you have to do is put it in the slow cooker, heat it up to 180, then let it cool to 110, and then you mix in the starter with your milk, your heated up milk, and let it ferment for like 8 to 10 hours. I've even done 12, which with great success. It's more about the process, and if you did want to speed up the process, you could always do it over like on the stove in a pot, but then you just have to stir it constantly and it's a little bit more hands-on. Whereas this one works to my lifestyle. I can just put the slow cooker on, set my timer, and then just go back and check it and let it cool and then continue on with the process. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please leave a comment, like, and subscribe. Thank you so much.